Now, the big question is, what is next for Daniel Dubois? Who does he fight next? His promoter, Frank Warren, straight after that fight, straight after knocking Joshua out, Frank Warren, while he was in a ring doing an interview, he said Daniel Dubois wants to stay busy. He wants to get back in there as soon as possible. Now, they're looking at some December date. I personally don't think Daniel Dubois will be back in the ring in December. I think maybe early 2025, maybe February, March, we might see him back in the ring. Now, like I said, the question is, who does he fight next? As you can see on the title I've put down, I've said Martin Bakole, but there are other challenges out there. We've got Joseph Parker, the former heavyweight champion of the world. He wants to gain on the action. He wants to get involved. He wants to test himself against the new king of the heavyweight division, Daniel Dubois. We've got Zhilei Zhang, of course. He can put up a great challenge as well. He can test Daniel Dubois. So there are challenges out there. There's fighters out there that Daniel Dubois can certainly get in a ring with, and dance with. But all of them possess different dangers in it. You got Joseph Parker, he's got great momentum right now after beating Wilder, after beating Zhang. Joseph Parker has improved tremendously, especially with his new coach. He's come a long way. Joseph Parker, he suffered a few setbacks. He's rejuvenated himself, gone back into training, learned new things. He's just toughened up a bit more, yeah. And his performance against Wilder was really, really, really impressive. I thought Wilder was gonna knock him out eventually. I always thought that Joseph Parker was the better boxer. He was more skilled, but in my head, I was thinking, you know what? Eventually, Wilder's gonna find that range and he's gonna pinpoint that right hand and knock Joseph Parker out. But he never came. It never happened. In fact, Joseph Parker, he nearly knocked out Deontay Wilder like in 11 for 12 rounds. So absolutely fantastic performance by Joseph Parker. And also against Zhilei Zhang, Joseph Parker got knocked down, but he came back. Do you know what I mean? He went through some adversity. He came back to win a unanimous decision against Zhilei Zhang. So he shows a lot of growth on Joseph Parker. He shows a lot of determination. He shows that, he's a warrior. He's willing to carry on. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of fighters after, especially in the heavyweight division, if you're not getting the opportunity to fight for the belt anymore, you've suffered a few setbacks, especially that loss against Joe Joyce where he got knocked out very badly in that fight. He was beaten up pretty bad. That could have been it for him. Do you know what I mean? It could have demotivated him and he didn't have to come back. But for him to come back and put on the performances that he has recently, I'm really impressed by Joseph Parker. So Joseph Parker will be a very interesting matchup for Daniel Dubois. Now, we know Joseph Parker is going to come in there to fight straight, be very skillful, fight on the inside. He's not going to make the same mistakes as Anthony Joshua did. So that one there, yeah, if that fight was to happen, yeah, that would be interesting. Daniel Dubois has got the power. We know that he's demonstrated against Anthony Joshua, and Daniel Dubois himself, in terms of boxing skills, he's improved massively himself. So he ain't no pushover. So that will be a very interesting fight. One note is like the whole world must be so envious of Frank Warren at the moment. Frank Warren's got Tyson Fury fighting in December against Alexander Usyk for 3 of the belts in the heavyweight division. He's got Joseph Parker, Zhilei Zhang, who are both in the top 5, and he's got Daniel Dubois, the IBF World Heavyweight Champion of the world. Like, come on. He's got what? He's got 4 fighters in the top 10, like, and 4 of them are in the top 4, in the top 5. Sorry, so that is incredible achievement by Frank Warren. Like Frank Warren, he's the boss right now. He's the guy. He can make all type of chess moves right now. The money's in. He's stable. He's got the belt. And if Fury was to beat Alexander Usyk in December, whoa, all the heavyweight belts will be under the Queensberry promotion. That's crazy. That is some achievement. That is, you know what I mean? So a lot of these promoters out there must be so envious of Frank Warren right now. But anyway, let's go back to the potential opponents for Daniel Dubois. I mentioned Joseph Parker. Let's look at Zhilei Zhang. Zhilei Zhang, we all know he's got that left hand, man. Southpaw, he's awkward. He's going to present all type of problems to Daniel Dubois. Now, the only thing with Zhilei Zhang, the only thing that kind of like doesn't really get me excited about that fight is that his age, I think Zhilei Zhang's like 40 years old now. Correct me if I'm mistaken. Let me know in the comments. But I think he's 40 years old. And Zhilei Zhang, one thing about him, even though he was impressive when he knocked out Deontay Wilder in his last fight, but as we saw against Joseph Parker, Zhilei Zhang does tend to slow down in the later rounds. You know what I mean? Like when he go past the 6th round, it does slow down. And we saw against Joseph Parker, once Joseph Parker got knocked down, once Joseph Parker settled himself, overcame a bit of adversity, when they go to the 6th, 7th round, those rounds, Zhang dramatically slowed down. Like I was so bemused like how dramatic his performance went down. Like his stamina, his cardio is very poor. And if you go someone like a Daniel Dubois who throws so much volume, Daniel Dubois starts so quick. I don't think Zhang can really keep up with the pace of a Daniel Dubois. So I think that fight, I think like really that's a full-gone conclusion there. I'm gonna go with Daniel Dubois to absolutely annihilate Zhilei Zhang. Although, listen, it's heavyweight boxing. Zhilei Zhang has got that left hand, and if Daniel Dubois goes in there reckless and he gets caught, yeah, he could be 9-9 as well. So, but that fight, I think that's very unlikely to happen, simply because I'm looking at Zhilei Zhang's age, and yeah, I don't think that's a fight that the public will really be interested in. Now, moving on to my favorite, yeah, this is the fight that I would like to see, me myself as a boxing fan. I would like to see Daniel Dubois test himself against Martin Bakole, the Congolese powerhouse. After his impressive knockout win over Jared Anderson, yeah, you know, Martin Bakole has become a problem for everybody in the heavyweight division. Now I think he's ranked number 9, and the thing about Martin Bakole, he's one of those fighters where he's so awkward. Yeah, he's very high risk, low reward. Yeah, and Martin Bakole, even with his impressive win over Jared Anderson, like he's not that much of a popular fighter. Like his name doesn't really ring bells. Do you know what I mean? Especially to the casuals, like us boxing guys. Like, you know what I mean? We know Martin Bakole. We know what he's about, but would he really generate the interest from the public? I don't really think so. And why would Frank Warren risk the belts leaving his stable? Like he's got Zhilei Zhang, Joseph Parker. He's got those options where he can just say, you know what, Daniel Dubois takes on a Joseph Parker. Whoever wins in that fight, the belts stay with Queensbury Promotion. So, I mean, it's a win-win for Frank Warren. Even though I think Frank Warren would prefer Daniel Dubois to remain as the champion, because I just feel like from a marketing point of view, the British, the British public and etc. etc. I just feel like Dubois generates more interest for Queensbury Promotion than a Joseph Parker. Do you know what I mean? So, but Martin Bakole would possess a lot of problems for Daniel Dubois. Unlike Anthony Joshua, Martin Bakole has a great chin. He's been hit. He's been tested. I saw Jared Anderson pop him on the chin a couple of times, and the punches were just bouncing off. So I'm not saying Jared Anderson punches as hard as Daniel Dubois, but Martin Bakole is very awkward. He throws punches from unorthodox, awkward positions. So he's not like one of those, stylistically, he's not one of those basic boxers where, you can telegraph every single one of his punches. Like he throws punches from everywhere, different angles. And that type of boxing style, yeah, that fighting style can catch Daniel Dubois off guard. You know what I mean? As Daniel Dubois comes in with his high guard, the way he comes in, like Martin Bakole is throwing punches from different angles. That could really pose a big threat to Daniel Dubois. And Martin Bakole has always got great cardio. I've seen most of his fights. He never really gets tired. He can fight at a high pace. He can slow it down if he has to. He can punch with you. Like he can basically do anything. He throws volume, as much volume as Daniel Dubois throws. Why would Frank Warren risk one of his fighters taking on a Martin Bakole? Like I said, the belts live in Queensbury Promotion. So I don't really think that's that kind of smoke. I'm not saying like Daniel Dubois himself as the champ. Listen, he just knocked out Anthony Joshua, one of the best heavyweights in the world. So he won't be scared of nobody right now. Do you know what I mean? Like Daniel Dubois will fight anybody right now. The confidence is off the roof. Like he doesn't care. But boxing is a business, and Frank Warren is not risking his fight, taking on an awkward fighter who's ranked number 9, yeah, who's probably not gonna generate as much pay-per-view, yeah, or generate the money necessary like for Frank Warren to be satisfied on it. But so I don't think that fight happens, but I think that'll be an interesting fight, man. Let me know. Would you think of a Martin Bakole versus Daniel Dubois? Daniel Dubois wants to stay busy. He didn't take that much punishment against Anthony Joshua, when they fought at Wembley. on last Saturday. So I can see Daniel Dubois wanting to take that fight, but his promoter Frank Warren is just not gonna take it. But I feel like that would be a great opportunity for Martin Bakole to really, again, he's already announced himself, but Martin Bakole getting that opportunity to fight at that stage, like against the IBF World Heavyweight Champion of the world, I think that will give him great motivation, and he will really go for that. Martin Bakole will really go for that because he's a problem and he's being avoided at the moment. But eventually, one of these fighters, these heavyweight champions, they're gonna have to take on the Martin Bakole, especially if he has another fight and he's impressive and he knocks his opponent out. So that's what I think. I feel like there's three challenges to Daniel Dubois: Joseph Parker, Gile Zhang, and Martin Bakole. Like I said, look, they're all pose all different threats to the champion, Daniel Dubois, but they are all winnable fights for the champion. You know what I mean? With the confidence that he's got, he's now really confident in his own ability. He'll believe that he can knock all of these guys out. So I'm not saying like these guys will beat Daniel Dubois. I'm just saying that these will be great matchups, and maybe they're not warm-up fights. I don't want to be too disrespectful to these fighters. They're not warm-up fights, but Frank Warren did say Daniel Dubois wants to stay busy. He wants to get back in December, maybe before Fury and Alexander Usyk take on each other. So I'm just putting a suggestion out here, putting a few names forward: Martin Bakole, Gile Zhang, Joseph Parker. These could be potential matchups for Daniel Dubois in the near future. Or maybe, I've heard Eddie Hearn as well. He's gone on about this so-called rematch clause that Anthony Joshua had in that fight against Daniel Dubois. So Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, they might even have to run that back in early 2025. So we'll still see. It remains to be seen. We'll wait and see in it. But for Joseph Parker and Gile Zhang, just going back to these two fighters, I think they have a rematch clause also. So these two can fight in China, potentially. Riyadh season going over to China, Turkey Al Sheikh. He definitely make that fight happen. And again, two Queensbury promoted fighters going at it. Gile Zhang, Joseph Parker out in China is going to just blow pay-per-view numbers out there in China. Gile Zhang is a superstar in China. That's going to be a crazy, massive event out there in China. And listen, Frank Warren is going to make all the dough in. He's going to make all the money. So I have a slight feeling Frank Warren might just be turning his head towards a Gile Zhang versus Joseph Parker rematch. Yeah, get them two fighting, and those two can kind of fight as it could be like an eliminator fight. Do you know what I mean? It could be like an eliminator fight where the winner of that can then take on a Daniel Dubois in the new year. If Daniel Dubois doesn't rematch, Anthony Joshua, or maybe Frank Warren is holding out for Fury. If Fury beats Alexander Usyk in December, you have three of the belts. Then we get Tyson Fury versus Daniel Dubois at Wembley 2025 for the undisputed crown. That would be crazy. Can you imagine that? Daniel Dubois, Tyson Fury at Wembley, 100,000 easy. And that fight was really meant to be Joshua versus Fury. But how the tables have turned, Daniel Dubois has turned up and just completely changed all the narrative. He's just flipped the table and said, nah, I'm here. I'm Daniel Dubois. You know what I mean? And I want all that smoke. So it's going to be interesting. The heavyweight division in boxing has certainly got very exciting. It's very juicy. I'm looking forward to see the next, set of bouts. You know what I mean? I really want to see the next matchups. I think the top 10 right now is looking great. The heavyweight division is looking healthy. And if the heavyweight division in boxing is healthy, the fights are competitive, there's money being generated, that filters down all the way to the other divisions. And it makes boxing great and exciting again. And as boxing fans, that's exactly what we want. So the future is bright for the heavyweight division. And yeah, man, I'm really, looking forward to seeing Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk in December. And the winner of that, listen, let's get that undisputed clash. Let's get that sorted out. I'm sure the promoters and Turkey Al Sheikh Riyadh season will make sure that happens. But yeah, do let me know in the comments who you think Daniel Dubois should take on next. Should it be the Anthony Joshua rematch, or should he give himself, go for a new challenge in Gile Zhang, Joseph Parker, or Martin Bakole? But listen, to me, any of those fighters are going to be a problem. They all posed all sorts of challenges, all sorts of threats and risks to the IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel Dubois. But do let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Also, don't forget, as I always mention, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share this video. This will help me grow the channel and motivate me to keep bringing you these great discussions, great content on boxing and sports overall. Thank you very much for watching EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo. Until the next one, peace.